해마다 봄이 되면 한국인들은 생명력이 가득 담긴 봄나물을 먹습니다. 봄나물은 한국인만이 먹는 세상에서 가장 특별한 먹거리인데요. 일반적으로 해외에서는 식물의 잎과 열매를 먹지만 한국인은 줄기, 뿌리, 껍질, 새순 등 식용이 가능한 모든 부위를 데치고 볶는 것뿐만 아니라 말렸다 불리거나 생으로도 양념에 겉절이로도 먹습니다. 그 중에서도 한번 맛보면 누구도 잊을 수 없는 나물이 있는데요. 흔히 명이나물로 불리는 산마늘입니다. 마늘은 요리에 들어갔을 때 완벽한 감칠맛을 주는 신비한 작물인데 명이는 부축과 식물이지만 그런 마늘 향을 그대로 간직하고 있습니다. 명이라는 이름은 겨울이 끝난 울릉도에서 캐먹고 생명을 이어갔다는 데에서 붙은 이름이라고 합니다. 깊은 마늘의 풍미를 가진 명이는 옹골찬 기운을 내며 압도적인 존재감을 가지고 입맛을 사로잡습니다. 차가운 매운맛과 담백한 맛, 그리고 의외로 들어있는 단맛을 한번 느끼고 나면 묘한 중독성에 빠져들죠. 쑥쑥 잘 자랄 것 같이 생겼지만 의외로 장아찌로 담글만한 크기로 자랄 때까지 4~5년이나 걸리는 귀한 식물이라고 합니다. 그런데 이 명이나물이 프랑스와 독일 등 유럽 전역에선 봄의 마늘로 불리는데요. 명이는 각종 비타민과 미네랄, 칼슘이 풍부해서 겨울잠에서 깬 곰들이 허약해진 몸의 원기를 채우기 위해 첫 번째로 먹는 식물이기에 세계 모든 곳에서 고물마늘이라고 불리는 것이죠. 장아찌로 만든 명이는 기름진 맛을 싹 잡아주어 삼겹살과 특히 궁합이 좋습니다. 아저씨 라이프라는 유튜브 채널을 운영하는 한 영국인은 런던의 한 식당에서 삼겹살과 명이나물을 먹어보고 그 맛에 푹 빠지고 말았는데요. 그래서 해마다 직접 영국의 산에서 명이를 채취해 장아찌를 담궈 1년 내내 먹는다고 합니다.
When spring and wild garlic is growing everywhere, I thought it was the best time to show you not only how to find it, but how to turn it into one of the best side dishes you can make for grilled food. I'm actually foraging locally, just a 5-minute walk away from my home to the Chiltern Nature Reserve. There are a few secret spots I like to visit each year. You can forage for wild garlic any time between March and June. I like to go to mid-March when they've just started to come up, which means that they'll have a chance to regrow for others to pick in the coming months. In the later months, they'll grow flowers and the garlic is weaker in flavour with tougher leaves. They're still edible but not suitable for this recipe. Wild garlic. Okay, so I didn't just stumble upon this by chance. I actually foraged here the year before, and when I came last week to check, there was still a lot of garlic. It looks like somebody's already been here though, and they've got all the best leaves, so I'm going to check out another spot. This is a new area I found last week. It's actually in plain sight, but it seems like no one's actually noticed. The only problem is there's a lot of people walking around me. Personally, I just want somewhere quiet and hidden. I don't really like people seeing what I'm doing with all this wild garlic. People think I'm weird. The leaves in this area are a little bit small for my needs, so I'm going to move on. So when you're looking for wild garlic, look for somewhere that's quite wet and damp and in the darkness. Wild garlic grows where it's a little bit dark. So the way to tell if it's actually wild garlic is if you get the leaf, just crumple it up a bit and smell it. It will smell like garlic. You can't mistake it for anything else. I think I've got enough. 3 bags. Last year I picked 1.5 bags, which lasted me roughly about a year. I mean, that was me being stingy with how much I was eating, so hopefully this will last a lot longer. And now on to the tedious part. Because I picked these outside, they all need to be washed and dried. And once they're pickled, I'm going to put them into 2 of these 5-litre containers. Quite a lot of work. Once you've washed and dried all of the leaves, we need to make the base for the pickle. I'm making a stock base and just using a few ingredients I have to hand. So to start, I add 1 litre of water to a pan, a few pieces of konbu, which is dried seaweed, some chopped spring onion, an apple, and an onion. Bring the stock to a boil and reduce the heat. Leave it until all of the vegetables are soft. To make the base, pour 4 cups of the stock into another pan. Now if you're feeling lazy, you don't need to use stock, you can just use water. The end result will be fairly similar. Add 3 cups of soy sauce and 1.5 cups of sugar. Yes, I know there's brown sugar in there, but I ran out of white, so add 1 cup of vinegar and then put the pan on to boil. When it starts to boil, turn it off and put 1 more cup of vinegar in. You now want to leave the mixture to cool for the next step. So now that these are washed and dried, we're going to put them into the container and we're going to sort of put them in rows. So we'll do sort of rows of 10 going one way, tail on this end, and then we'll do a row of 10 going the opposite way. So these tails go this way next to the original ones. Got it? And using the now cooled mixture, you want to pour it all over the leaves. As you can see, not all of the leaves are above the mixture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press them down with some of these plates and put the lid on. What you want to do now is you want to leave this for 3 days, leave it outside, don't put it in the fridge yet. I actually miscalculated how many leaves I'd need, so in the end I ended up with 3 containers full. That's 3,000 leaves. After the 3 days are up, you want to take the mixture out of the containers and reboil them. You're basically repeating the last process. Now the leaves have gone down a little bit, that's because they've lost some water. So pour the mixture back into a pan and bring it to a boil. After the mixture is cooled, refill the containers and put them in the fridge. You can start eating these after a few weeks. The longer you leave them, the better they get. Finally, it's been a long day, but what better way to end it than having some wild garlic from last year. So if you look, this wild garlic is kind of dark compared to the one from earlier. It's a lot, what would you say? It's got a lot more flavour. Let's give this one a try. So I'm going to try a bit of the beef with the wild garlic. So you get the wild garlic, put it down, and then you just wrap. And then you put it in your mouth and eat. It's super delicious. The meat is nice and salty and it's got some seasoning, but you wrap the leaf around it and it's a really sort of, I don't know, it's a sort of contrast. It's a little bit of a sharp taste and maybe a hint of the garlic taste. It's really nice. Please try it. Let's have some pork. Just wrap that up. Again, it's perfect. The pork is a little bit fatty, of course, but the acidity of the pickle cuts right through it. It's really good with grilled meat. Please try. So no Korean meal is complete without a bit of soju. This one's a grapefruit soju. Cheers.
고기를 더 맛있게 먹기 위해 명이를 직접 채취해 다듬고 씻어 완벽한 장아찌를 담그는 수고로움을 이겨낸 그의 모습에서 먹는데 진심인 한국인의 모습이 느껴지는데요. 앞으로도 영국에서 맛있는 한국 음식을 많이 알려주길 바라며 오늘 준비한 소식 마치겠습니다. 여러분의 소중한 의견을 남겨주세요. 바쁘시더라도 구독과 좋아요 부탁드립니다. 지금까지 단골이시였습니다. 시청해주셔서 감사합니다.